and Bill's decorations were already down. But not George's.
Woo!
Ha! She's still got some life in her. Sort of. Oh, hey, I almost forgot the erector set. Ready to tackle the 1889 Paris exhibition? Sounds like a big project. What do you say we set it up in the attic where there's more room? Hang in there, George. I'm just getting it started for you. Then she's all yours.
It had been too cold to climb with Jumpy Squirrel, or run with Dotty Deer, or waddle with Dumpling Duck. George missed his animal friends. Since it was too cold for George to play outside, maybe his friends could come inside for a sleepover.
Oh, let's see here. Are these sleeping bags? Okay, so you want to have a sleepover with your friends? Sure, why not? Oh, and when you talk to Allie and Bill and whoever that other person is, see if one of them is good with erector sets.
If you're having a sleepover, you'll need snacks, fun party games, and cozy sleeping bags. Now all George needed were guests. Jumpy didn't like being startled. Whatever the monkey wanted, it had better be good. Who was Jumpy to say no to free nuts? Dotty wondered where Jumpy had gone. If it was good enough for the squirrel and the deer, Dumpling wanted in too. Maybe they'd like to play a game. Dumpling knew what to do with eggs. Fortunately, George had extra game pieces. Jumpy thought they were nuts. And Dotty thought the dice were sugar cubes. Maybe they should just go to bed. Was this their first sleepover? George would have to show them how sleeping bags worked. George and the man with the yellow hat had been invited by Mr. Quint to go ice fishing. George thought he should practice. The trouble was, the ice weren't biting.
Hey, George. What happened to all our... George, you do realize that ice fishing doesn't mean fishing for ice. Mr. Quint will show you. Better go pack a coat, hat, and mittens. It's gonna be cold up north. Mr. Quint, we're here.
Well, hello, you two. Come on in.
Thanks for the invitation. I have always wanted to try ice fishing.
Well, to get where the fish are, you have to drill a hole, George.
George doesn't believe that fish can live in the ice.
See down there? The fish are in the water. Under the ice. No, George. It takes an expert fisherman, like me, to catch them. They don't just jump up and say hello. Oh, my goodness! Maybe they do jump up and say hello.
It was George's old friends, Professors Einstein and Pizza.
Oh, my. You look a lot like our pal George. Why, it is George.
What brings you up here, fellas?
We're here on an important mission.
But we're having trouble with our sub. Someone spilled his juice box on the control panel.
Someone drives like this. Whee! Whee!
At any rate, it appears that we'll have to scrap the mission.
Wait a minute, Einstein. George is here. The mini-sub! George, how would you like to do some whale counting for us?
That sounds like yes to me.
The mission is saved!
Okay, George, in you go. You remember how to use all the controls? Ah!
I got one! I got a big one! Ooh.
Thanks, Mr. Quint.
George, this time of year, several species of whales are swimming to their winter homes.
We're trying to track them as they migrate. Your mission is to count the whales you see going by. Now, see the screen on your dashboard? That shows the different kinds of whales you might encounter. Beluga whales are white, bowhead whales are dark, and narwhals have long tusks.
Now, George, whales aren't fish. They come up to the surface of the water to breathe air.
Some of them also swim really deep, so you'll have to look up and down. When you see one of these whales, just touch the picture on the screen that matches it, and the computer will count it.
Okay, George. Here we go!
It was autumn in the country. Leaves were falling, and so were acorns. Jumpy had stashed away plenty for winter. But there was always room for more. Jumpy's acorn stash was gone. He had just hidden those nuts. Whoever had taken them couldn't have gone far. He just had to find someone eating. The monkey!
George, come back and finish lunch.
The monkey was eating Jumpy's nuts for lunch? Jumpy had to get his acorns back. He would watch that monkey like a hawk.
And his friend got into the car and went home. Good night, George. Oh, no. You can play with Jumpy tomorrow.
What was Jumpy so grumpy about? He liked nuts. Maybe if George gave him a nut, he'd feel better. Jumpy couldn't believe it. The monkey was stealing acorns right under his nose. Jumpy had usually saved more nuts than that by fall. Someone might have taken them. And Jumpy seemed to think that someone was George. If someone had taken those nuts, it was up to George to find out who. Could those be Jumpy's nuts?
Hiya, George. Want a piece of pie? Fresh out of the oven.
But how could Mrs. Rankins have gotten up Jumpy's tree? Not possible. There had been a storm last night. Maybe the wind blew so hard, the nuts rolled out of the tree. And Mrs. Rankins found them. George had to tell Jumpy. He would see it was all a big mistake. Jumpy could see there was a mistake, all right. His nuts were acorns. And those nuts were pecans. Jumpy was right. Mrs. Rankin's nuts were different. George loved visiting the Maldives. Mostly because of Uncle Hassan.
And now breathe calmly in and out.
Whose morning ritual included yoga. He made them traditional Maldivian food.
Not too spicy, I hope.
Just like your mom used to make.
And just when George thought it couldn't get any better, it did.
Snorkeling? Oh, that's a great idea.
And of course you can use my boat. You'll love it. The coral reef is the home of so many different kinds of fish. There are glassfish, parrotfish, butterfly fish, and surgeonfish.
Oh, George, you ready to go snorkeling?
Take a trip, see somewhere new. Learn about what others like to do. There's different words and different ways. At every turn, you'll be amazed. So head on out. There's so much to see. A million things to spark your curiosity. There's something there for every boy and girl. Let's learn about the wonders of the world. So head on out. There's so much to see. A million things to spark your curiosity. Yeah, there's something there for every boy and girl. Let's learn about the wonders of the world.
So, the simplest route is to go around this bit of land.
George wanted to bring his ball, but was there an extra seat?
Yes, George? Sure, you can put the ball in there. That seems easy enough. Ready to get going, George? All right, off we go.
Bye! Happy snorkeling! See you later! Huh. That person must be expecting a big emergency.
Here, George. I'll steer while you navigate. We want to keep going east. Keep the E pointed toward the front of the boat and make sure the red arrow is pointed toward the end. If the red arrow moves away from the end, let me know.
There's nothing a little monkey likes better than playing in the sand at the beach. except for finding seashells.
Looks like the ocean gave you a present, George. Oh, George, we better hurry. Our tour of the Marine Rehab Center starts in a few minutes.
George liked having his special shell, but he didn't want it to break.
Hello?
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
George didn't know he was going to see his friends, Professors Einstein and Pizza.
Thanks for inviting us to check out your marine lab.
Our pleasure. We love sharing our underwater world with visitors.
And we're hoping you'll help us clean the fish tanks later.
Wow, those are a lot of fish tanks.
George had never seen an animal with 8 arms before.
Why, that's Octavia the octopus.
And like all octopuses, she's very smart.
George could do a lot with 4 hands, but what could he do if he had 8? George noticed one of Octavia's arms was short.
Oh, she's fine. Before Octavia came to us, she must have lost one of her arms.
Luckily, she's an octopus, so it's growing back.
Oh, wait, what?
That's right. An octopus can regrow an arm.
Not only that, she can taste with her arms, too. Here, hold this out, George. She's tasting it with her arms, the way you taste with your tongue.
George wondered what it would be like to taste something with his arms.
Look, George. Seahorses.
The seahorses were beautiful. Their bright colors reminded George of his shell. George realized he'd put his seashell on the table earlier.
What's the matter, George? You're looking for your shell? Well, maybe you dropped it somewhere?
But George hadn't dropped it. He'd left it on the table. He was sure of that.
Well, it wouldn't be the first thing that's gone missing around here lately.
Oh, no. Just yesterday, I left my shoes in the lab, and one of them disappeared, too. Anyway, don't worry, George. There are lots of shells around here. We'll find you one that's just as nice.
But George wanted his shell, the one the ocean had given him. But where could it be? What was a snake doing in water? Maybe the snake took George's shell and then hid out in the fish tank.
Oh, he can't come out of the tank, George. That's an eel.
Eels are a kind of fish.
A long, skinny fish.
If the eel couldn't come out of the water, it couldn't have taken George's shell or Professor Einstein's shoe. So where was it?
Wow, scallops. See those?